All right. Hey there, everybody. I'm Christopher Inks with Texas West Capital coming at you live here a little bit later today because I was on the Bitboy and Crypto Show today. Got a couple of charts on there, talked a little bit TA. But as I mentioned, I was going to be a little bit late, and here I am a little bit late. Coming at you live, though, from just north of Houston, Texas on Lake Conroe. Good to have you guys checking in as always. Hopefully you guys are having a good day. Bitcoin doing a little something this morning. Not exactly what we want to see, but that was all in relation to the ETF news, right? So the SEC comes out and says, "Hey, listen, these ETF filings by BlackRock and everybody else are lacking, mostly in their surveillance area." And so what that means is here it goes back to you. You can change it up and resubmit. And so that's what happened. But here's the thing, guys. You had a sudden big drop, right? And so when you have, again, what I'm trying to explain to you guys is that when you have this this large movement like that suddenly, especially when it's broad-based, across all different cryptos and everything, what that is that's your big players, right? And so they have algos, and these algos, a lot of times these days, are being trained. It's kind of that whole artificial intelligence thing, right? It's being trained on recognition of negative or positive news. And that's why it happens so suddenly. Like the minute that stuff hits the news wire, boom, it happens, right? You can't do that. Retail isn't out there dumping like that. It's that. So it's a knee-jerk reaction to that news event. And because of that, I think we'll probably see it rally up higher there. But we'll take a look at some possible targets here. If it does continue lower and what that means. All right. So hopefully you guys were safe with all that. By the way, as you guys know, I've got a risk management workshop that I'm going to be doing next week. I had to move it to next Saturday, July 8th at 1 p.m. because I had a conflict on Wednesday. But that seems to be great because a lot of people are having an issue purchasing a ticket today. So I've sent a ticket in myself, a tech support ticket to the platform's tech support to see if we can get this figured out. So don't give up on it, guys. It'll be there. But what you're going to learn in that is the risk framework, the RISK. It's an acronym that we use. And what that does is it minimizes your losses, maximizes your consistent profits, right? Locking in consistent profits. And so those two things together give you the greatest chance of being successful as a trader. If you don't do that, well, you're just kind of really just setting yourself up to lose on that, guys. By the way, when you do that, we've got a bonus. You're going to get a free month of tier 3, and that way we can help you get started at least. Even if you don't stick around after the initial month, you'll get started on understanding how and why markets move like they do and how to forecast that. So not only do you get the risk management part of it, but you're going to get an introduction into as much as you can soak up in that month if you just stay the month, into how to actually read markets, understand how they're doing, what they're doing, how to, and then you add in that how to protect yourself. It works out real great. So I do have that link on my Twitter feed there, pinned there at the top, as well as in Discord. I'll get that out across other social media accounts as well. As soon as I, hear back from tech support, they got the dang issue fixed. It's always something, right? By the way, this is the first time I've ever done a workshop. Used a webinar type platform. So, it is what it is. I do apologize, guys. Seems like there's always an issue the first time you do something, right? So let me kind of catch up with you guys. Who's here already? Mr. Mark Shinar, first one in. Good to see you, buddy. Randall Dance, what's going on, man? You just found me on the Crypto Boy Crypto channel. Really like the stuff. Appreciate you teaching us things. Oh, man, that's great. Fantastic. Glad to have you here. And that's what I do. I have put out a ton of educational content for free over the last 5, almost 6 years now on YouTube. At one point, for those of you that are brand new, at one point, our channel, they had that crypto crackdown on YouTube. And in the middle of a live stream, my channel was like deleted. And it took me, and that's why we started then, doing shows on Twitch and whatnot. And why now I simulcast across multiple, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, because it shut us down and I couldn't get anybody to help me out. And actually one of our members happened to befriend somebody just by happenstance talking about crypto online. that worked at YouTube. It wasn't their actual department, but man, oh man, I'll tell you, just like this, that gentleman got me unlocked there and got my channel back. I lost the videos, but up to prior to that point. But man, oh man, it's just crazy, right? If you're in crypto, man, it's like headhunter stuff all the time, right? But I think that's why some people kind of get in here and they like it, because it makes them feel like they're, wild, wild west and doing things that that not everybody's willing to do, and kind of that idea. So, but yeah, so I put out a lot of content, a lot of free content as well. And so if you're really serious about learning, you'll pay attention to what I say. And even if you don't agree initially, keep coming back. Eventually you'll be open enough to go, okay, maybe let me look here. I'm telling you guys, these things I teach are the things that I've learned over almost 30 years of doing this. And they've worked really well for me. So my goal is to help you guys figure that out as well. All right. Let me see here. Bamboo, what's up, man? Yeah, looks like I survived the Big Boy stream. Of course. Yeah. Marcos, what's going on? Good to see you. Let me see here. Hank says, Olaf from Spain. Not so sudden it was in the charts. I want to know what chart that Hank could have been looking at, because if you've been following him in his travels in Spain, man, from fog to issues at the at the pay gate to, man, gosh, it seems like Hank's just having issue after issue over there with that. So Marco's checking in from Brazil. Fantastic. Glad to have you here. Windy City Assassin, what's going on, man? Let me kind of catch up everybody here. Data, Thibaswani's here. Eric good to see you, man. Good to see you. I appreciate the comment there. Sarong is here as well. Diego, man, you guys are all here. Kimasabi. Hey, Carpio, what's up, man? Yeah, it's been a while, buddy. Guns up, man. Let me see here. Soren's here. Frank's here. Spiral Architect. Good to see you guys as always. Dan Physics, you've learned a lot from my videos. Can't wait for the risk management video. Yeah, that's going to be a live class, by the way, guys. And so, you'll be able to ask some questions and whatnot. I'm thinking now here, before we get into the charts here, guys, this hit me last night before I found out that everybody's having this issue, right, of getting signed up. But my goal this year, remember, my goal I told you was to really get out there and help as many people as possible, right? Now, I realize a lot of what we do is expensive for a lot of people, okay? It is what it is, but it's because the quality is there, okay? But I am thinking, so like I said, if you purchase a ticket to it, you get in the early bird, which, by the way, this is taking a little bit longer. So once we get this fixed, it'll be 24 hours after when we get this fixed, okay? But if you sign up in that first 24 hours, you're going to get it for $49, the workshop, instead of $99, okay? After that, it's going to be $99. But here's the thing. You're also going to get as a bonus a month of access to our tier 3 product that we have, which is where we do our multiple times a week classes with Elliott Wave and Wyckoff and price action. We've got 2 foundations courses, over 11 hours of content there that you'll get access to, and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? But here's what I was thinking. I really want to get this out. The risk management is so important to me, right? You guys know, you've been following me, right? So I'm thinking, what if we do something like, if we get 100 people signed up for the workshop, everybody's going to get 2 free months. So not just the one for signing up, but because we hit the 100 mark, you get an extra free month of tier 3, right? And then if we hit 300, you'll get 3 months, right? And basically, if we were to somehow get 1,000 people signed up, I don't think it's going to happen. You guys prove me wrong. This is going to be on you to kind of share it and get it out there, right? But if we got 1,000 people to sign up to it, I'd be willing to give everybody sign up to it a year of free tier 3. And so, yeah, crazy, right? If you're already a tier 3 member or whatever, we would just add that on to what you have. But the idea is, that's how important it is to me that you guys really, truly understand risk management and you use it. That is I'm going to tell you what right now, guys. Risk management, proper risk management is the end all be all. It is actually what determines whether you will be successful or not. Not how well you know Elliott Wave or Wyckoff or any other thing or price action, anything else out there. It is risk management. And I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. So, if we do that, I think we may do that. Let me know what you guys think. I haven't decided yet, but that's kind of where I'm leaning with this. Our webinar can actually seat up to 5,000 people, believe it or not. So, I don't think, I really don't think we get that. I don't even think we'll get 1,000. But if we do, I'm willing to, to stick it out there and kind of say, listen, that's what we're doing, guys. Okay. So I'll let you guys know for sure on that. Let me know what you think. Okay. Let me kind of catch up with you guys here. Let me see where you guys at. Hank says, today I'm chilling in my new trading setup in the treehouse. Oh, wait. Vincent got on there. In the treehouse by the pool. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what that means, but hey, sounds fun. Don't fall, right? Was Fibbo comparing pool sizes yesterday? You mean on Twitter? No, I think he just has like this whole folder of stock images where you can have like cover for your laptop. I think that's what he was trying to do. Let me see here. Let me see. Let me kind of catch up with you guys here. Make sure to close some of those tabs. Nah, those tabs are good. All right. So, yeah. By the way, guys, that website isn't loading on Firefox. So if it's not loading, if you're using Firefox, or maybe there's another browser out there that's not, I know if you're using Edge or Chrome or what's it called on Apple, Safari or something like that, I know it shows up on that. For whatever reason, it's not popping up for me on Firefox. It's if it's not one thing, it's another, right, guys? Wazobia Dollars, what's going on, man? So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, there we go. So like I said, guys, earlier movement, likely just big professional algos with big hedge fund stuff like that, big accounts reacting to the negative sentiment in that whole ETF thing. And that's why we had the sell-off. And if that's the case, then there's a good chance we're going to see this pop higher. And so we're going to talk about that, okay? Bamboo says Brave browser, I can't even say it, browser works as well. It is what it is, guys. I don't know why it doesn't work for Firefox. It's kind of like my mainstay, but I just got to use these other ones. All right, let me see. Where are we at? So let's kind of go here, guys. Let's check it. Let's see what we're doing here. Bitcoin, right? So here we are again. The idea that, remember, we've got two possibilities right here, right now, okay? When you're doing Elliott wave, okay, and you think you may have a leading diagonal, which is where you have the 1 and the 2 and then the 3 and the 4 overlaps into wave 2, you get the 5, right? When you have that, or when you think you have that, you usually default to the idea that it's a 1-2, 1-2 first until it proves that it's a leading diagonal, okay? Because the leading diagonals aren't as common, right? They're more rare. Sorry, guys. Give me just 1 minute. Let me get this chair up. I feel like I'm sitting way down below y'all here. There we go. So what does that mean? Well, that means right here. So what am I talking about? Well, if this were a leading diagonal, the idea is that this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then probably a 5 here, right? Now, if that happens, and you get this pullback down here toward this 25,000 level again, that's what's going to suggest that this is a leading diagonal. Until that happens, we're going to assume it's a 1-2, 1-2. And right here, we're still potentially working on wave 1 of wave 3 of wave 3, okay? Now, let me zoom in here, and I'll show you what I mean on that. So what do we have here? We had this move down, move up, move down, right? So it looks like we've got like an A, B, C, A, B, C, and then A, B, C. Okay? So it would be a WXY. Now, here's the thing about this. Watch this. First of all, you guys notice we just went right down to the pivot, right? Whatever chart you're on, it came right to the pivot or just above it. Okay? Or at least I haven't seen a chart that has done anything different. And if it did, because everything else is saying that, it just kind of, it's an outlier if it did something different, right? But we're right above the 38.2. Okay. So like I said, right now I'm assuming it's a WXY. And so what do we need? So we need a breakout above this swing high here. This is Bitcoin USD on Coinbase. We need a breakout above 31, 121, and 41 cents here. Because if we break out above that from where we're at, then this as an ABC is complete because this can't subdivide any lower once you break up above that, okay? So that's the first step. Then what we're looking for is a breakout above this swing high, right? This is wave X. So if I was to do this again, the idea is that we've got a W, X, and a Y here, okay? So we need that, but the breakout above this wave X here at 31,277, that's the one. If you hit that, that says, okay, that adds confidence to the count. It says, okay, well, wave 5 should be in progress to around a 32,680 target area, okay? Now, it is possible that this could still be, that this wave 3 could still be in progress, that this is just subdividing, right? But, it needs to prove that to do it. So we're going to look for that target up here. If it keeps on breaking out above that, then we'll look at the thing here and go, well, okay, maybe, I'm sorry, let me get this right here. Get this changed right. We'll say, okay, well, maybe this is wave 3 over here, right? And this wave 3 is going to be up here. But for now, anyway, we're looking at 32,680. Because Elliott wave, guys, listen, if you're doing Elliott wave, a lot of people want to do Elliott wave because they're like, oh my gosh, it's going to give me the exact target right away. I don't have to worry about anything, right? No, what it does is it gives you a place to start. And then you have to refine your count as the price action continues to play out. Okay. So again, and this often happens when you have an overextension of wave 3, which we already do have. So it could continue overextending, but right now that's our target. That's what we're looking at. Bigger picture, guys, bigger picture. Don't get cute at the beginning of the bull run, guys. Don't get cute, okay? Bigger picture is wave circle 3 is up here still at around 43,412 on this chart, okay? That's big picture. So, keep that in mind. Don't try to get cute at the beginning of a bull run and try and, long and short all the way up. Because at the beginning, you have a lot less supply out there. And that's why when you're looking at a Wyckofian structure here, right? When you're looking at this idea here, right? This is why you have these weird kind of moves here. Big thrust up, big move down, and then boom, big bump back up, right? And then you're sideways here getting all crazy about what's going on, and then boom, back up, right? Big move up, slight pullback, continued pull, right? And so this is what catches people. This is what catches people a lot of times, especially at the beginning of the bull run. So, my thoughts on that, guys, just general advice to traders in general is don't try to get cute, especially if you don't have a lot of experience behind you. And what do I mean by experience? I don't mean experience losing money. I mean consistently profitable experience, okay? You have to be, guys, listen, you've got to be realistic about where you are in your knowledge and your experience with trading. Because the only person you're going to hurt, if you lie about it is yourself. If you're honest with yourself, that keeps you from taking a lot of the bigger chances that you shouldn't be taking. Okay? When you lie to yourself and you say, you haven't been consistently profitable, but you're like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, even though you don't have that track record suggesting that, which is what we tend to do. Remember, as human beings, we tend to minimize where we have trouble and maximize where we don't have as much trouble, right? In other words, we try to think to ourselves, and the thing we put out to everybody else is that we're better than what we are, and we're nowhere near as bad as what we are at something, right? But you just can't, guys. Nobody cares. It doesn't affect anybody else but you. So if you're lying to yourself about where you are in your experience and how well you are or aren't doing, if you're lying to yourself about that, it's going to make you take stupid trades that you shouldn't be taking, or that you learn at some point that you shouldn't be taking, right? Don't do that. Don't do that, okay? The goal is to make money, guys, and we're in a bull market, and you want to make that money, and you want to keep it. I hope that makes sense, guys, okay? Let me see here. What's going on, Chad? Drop today finally gave you an entry. What are you talking about, man? The drop today on the price here, right? Yeah. It was good. Like I said, man, it hit that hourly pivot. Everything else aside, guys, when we're trading pivots, everything else aside, look at this. Let me show you something. Better 12-hour, right? everything else aside, we came in, we moved sideways between the R1 and the pivot. We didn't break up. Instead, we broke down. We found support at the pivot. Huge reaction back up into this structure, right? And so when you're doing pivots, usually that, you're looking for that breakout here to continue higher up through it, right? So again, not really hating the movement at all. You can see on the 12-hour, we're down and oversold. 1 hour, we're oversold Stochh RSI. Not in RSI though. 4 hour, we're just around neutral here on the RSI. Stochh RSI is just around neutral as well. But you can jump in here to like your 30-minute. 30-minute did not cross into oversold here on the RSI, but the Stochh RSI did. Again, on this, that hourly pivot, so you go through the 30-minute, and then on the 15-minute, here you are, right? So the 15-minute is what dipped into oversold here. Again, look at your price action and your volume. Look at this. Look at the volume here. Almost the same as this huge spike of volume here. But look at your candle spread. You've got this huge candle spread, and then you got this very small one. So almost the same amount of area, significantly less result. That's what we kind of look for when we want to see a reversal, right? Now, again, the ideal is, maybe this is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, right? But it's still A, B, C. So we've still got to get above that 30,000 or 31,121 area here to lock this in as an ABC. Large fair value gap here. We break into it. We should rally up to it. Up here, 30,900 area at least. So that gets us near that. We would expect to kind of continue to pop up higher in that. Does that make sense, guys? So, let me see here. So that's kind of what we're looking at, okay? So I'm looking for the breakout here to kind of teleport us up toward this swing high area. And then again, breakout above that swing high there. And then, of course, wave X here at 31,277 on this chart should get us going higher, right? By the way, you'll notice our target area, 32,680, gets us through the R5 pivot here on the 15-minute. Not that we're going to do it today. It could happen. I'm not going to say it can't, but I would necessarily, bank on that, right? Now, the one thing you guys have to keep in mind is that this weekend, right, is the weekend before Independence Day. So we have our July 4th Independence Day there next Tuesday. So this is considered that holiday weekend. Again, it's a weekend anyway, but then you kind of get into holiday weekend. U.S. markets are actually open on Monday, but your stock market's going to close early about 1 o'clock. Bond markets are going to close early about 2 o'clock Eastern. Okay. But you should not expect to see much activity at all from U.S. Participants on Monday. Most people in finance, I told you guys this before, summers, they usually take off summers and they go to like Greenwich or something, right? Seriously, more or less take them off. But especially like a holiday, a July 4th holiday like this, where you have the weekend and then a day on and then the holiday, the day off, the next day, whatever. Usually they just take 4 days off. So you shouldn't expect a lot of activity through the weekend. Just my thoughts on that. By the way, guys, we're going to be closed Saturday because of that. We're going to be closed Saturday through Tuesday. We'll open back up next Wednesday. So next Tuesday's show will not happen because we'll be closed, okay? But just want to keep you guys abreast of what normally happens, with the market participants, the major market participants, when we kind of have this holiday thing that's a day after the weekend kind of thing. That's what we usually get. Let me see here. It says JMES. I want to say James. But let me see here. It says, hey, Chris, might be a silly question. Is the pivot? Nothing's a silly question, man. Please, guys, nothing is a silly question with me. If you've got a question, ask it, and I'll do my best to answer it. You can't learn unless you make sure that you're asking questions that you have, right? He's asking, is the pivot lines your indicator, or can we find it on TradingView? You can find it on TradingView. Go right up here to indicators at the top, click on that, type in pivot, and you'll see it'll be the second one right here. It says pivot point standard. That's what I use, guys. I don't change it with anything else. When you get in there, you can change it to, DeMark or, all these different kind of pivots. We've got a pivots points master course out there that we released that explains all the different ones and how they kind of work. But I just use straight up these pivots, traditional pivots here. I learned how to use them that way, and they work extremely well for me. But yeah, so you guys can all get that. And whatever platform you're on, you can get it. It's just pivot points is what it'll be, okay? Excuse me. Sorry about that. So anyway, yeah, well, here we go. We look like we're trying to get ready to break out here. We're getting some nice movement. Volume's picking up. Candles are expanding. We've got a bullish engulfing after this hammer candle down here at the swing low at the S1 pivot. And so, yeah, it looks like we're going to head there. Not hating it, guys. Not hating it. What's going on with the dollar? Well, the dollar got to drop, guys. Go figure, right? PCE data came out today. Remember, that is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. It's personal consumption expenditures, okay? They came in. I don't want to lie to you guys. Let me pull up the my my Twitter here. I posted on Twitter. Let me see here. They came in at, where are we at here? Oh, there we go. Let's see here. Yeah, so it showed inflation was slowing again. Last month's numbers was 4.5. It was revised down to 4.4%. There was it was 4.4 and it was revised down to 4.3. This month, the expectation was to see it rise to 4.6. Instead, it dropped to 3.8, guys. So big move down. That's, overall PCE there, right? But your core PCE is still sticky. It was 4.7% last month. That's when you strip out all the things like, gas and stuff like that, right? It was 4.7% last month and was expected to remain the same this month. So they were expected to come in at 4.7 when it came in this month, when the numbers came in this month. But instead, it came in at 4.6. So, I mean, it still is decreasing, but as you can see, only 0.1% down, right? Versus the overall PCE, which was, which was expecting a rise to 4.6, but got a drop to 3.8, right? So much bigger move down for overall, but that core stuff is still kind of sticky in there, even though it is still coming down. So that's what we want to see. We want to see it coming down. The Fed's going to want to see that number coming down stronger, though, that core number. So that's what you guys want to watch. Remember, the PCE comes out at the end of every month, okay? That is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. I know everybody talks about CPI, and, I mentioned it because everybody's looking at it. But around 2011 or 14, somewhere right around there, the Fed changed their preferred inflation gauge from CPI to PCE. And that's the way it's been for, basically a decade now. So if you want to know what the Fed is really looking at, it's the PCE number, not the CPI number. But anyway, yeah, so that came in this morning. So that's those soft numbers there causing the dollar. Remember, these are the DXY futures, right, on the ICE exchange. Not the DXY chart itself. This is the futures chart. And so we're looking at this as ABC wave 2 here complete. And so we got a bearish engulfing candle kind of printing right now for the daily. But of course, we've still got multiple hours until the daily closes. But if this holds here, guys, this gives us then a 1, 2. And that'll give us a minimum expected wave 3 at 98.195. Minimum wave 5 at 97. And that'll get us pretty close to the larger degree 1, 2, 3 here, right around 95.8. So I could see this wave 3, especially once we break down through this 100 level, see it accelerate a bit and probably overshoot. So even though the wave 3 target is 98.195, I would look for probably to get closer to 97. And then that'll give us a wave 5 closer to this 95.8 area there. But I think we get the acceleration when we finally break down through the 100 area here. Again, we're just kind of getting these lower highs, lower lows here. So we got a low, we got a high, we got a lower low, we got potentially a lower high, but we need to hit that lower low now to confirm that. But the daily Stochh RSI is just about breaking into overbought here. RSI itself is just neutral. So, and it's still coming down from the overbought area there. So that's what I'm looking for. If we break out above it though, well, then things get interesting. I'll look for, probably up here around the weekly pivot at 104.195 would be where I would need to see a rejection. Otherwise, we break out above wave 2. And if we break out above wave 2, that could suggest that wave 2 here is still in progress, but it gets us pretty close to this larger degree wave 2. And my thought at that point would be, if we break out above, what is this, 104.615, if we break out above that, I'm going to be leaning toward the idea that maybe this is a flat correction for this larger wave 2. So it'd be an A and a B, and then we look for a C, getting us up just a bit higher here, maybe around that 106.5 level. And so looking at this, maybe be like a, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up there. Let me see if we did that from here. Yeah, potentially up here, 106.5. Yeah, would be where I'd be looking. But again, until that happens, it does look like, again, we're up 3 waves here, bearish engulfing candles so far. We want to see us follow through and continue down lower there. And if we can break down, it really does open up that movement lower. And of course, what does that mean? That doesn't mean everything needs to rally, but what it does mean is it takes off that downward price on pressure, guys. Remember, everything is not directly linked to the value of the dollar, but the value of the dollar does place some weight on whether the price, whether the value of a thing goes up or down, right? Whether the price goes up or down. So it is one of those things that you do kind of want to watch. I think we still continue to go lower overall, but even if we did break out that bit, it's just a bit higher. It gets us that bigger, large, a bit larger wave 2, and then we get a really large wave 3 down, and ultimately it's the same result overall, right? Let me see here. Let me see here. Yeah, you guys are talking about LTC. Let me check here. So JMES, man, I hope that works for you, bud. Let me see. Let me look at Litecoin real quick. I might actually have a chart here at the moment. Let me see. Oh, I thought I did. Let me pull this up here. I got a few charts here I want to share with you guys. I'm going to do this. Since these are some of the charts I want to share with you. Let me kind of do this right here for you real quick. I had these set up to share on the Bitcoin show there, but they talked a little bit longer. And then, I guess I wasn't aggressive enough about showing more charts. So, something to learn for next time. It's all right. But I get to show it to you guys now, right? First time you guys have seen them there. Anyway, let's get back over here. I want to see this. You said Litecoin. Oops, USD. What is we looking at here? Oh, yeah, look at that. 110. Boom. Look at that. That's beautiful movement. This is the 5-minute chart. Let me pull out here the daily, guys. All right. Daily is fantastic. We've got some sideways here. We're getting this breakout here. Looks like it could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that gives us 1, 2. So if I'm looking at this just right off here, 3 is 118, almost $119. Minimum 5 is around 127.75. So I've been having a $129 target. So that would kind of set us up for that, guys. Let me see here. I'm just looking at something real quick. I'm gonna make sure this isn't something else. Let me see. Okay, so 1 AB or 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gets us down. Yeah, so this looks like a 1, and then let me make sure. I just want to make sure, see if this is a flat or not. That's a 78.6 now. Okay. So looks like maybe like A, B. Nah, that wouldn't work. I would just look right now up here toward this 128 area, 130 area as the target. Now, here's the thing. We're that close, and this is the daily. So, this closes the end of the day. If we had more time here, I would say, okay, maybe it pushes up to 141 here. You get all those R pivots. But I think, yeah, wave 3, $119 or so. Secondary target, 128. If we get that 128 for wave 3, then we'll probably get wave 5 closer to 140, 141. But if we do just get a rejection here at 119 area, then that'll give us a wave 5 at around 127, 128 right there. So yeah, that's what I would be looking at on that. I was looking at the possibility maybe it's like an A, B, C, D, E thing. Yeah, like a wave 4. And if it was, I mean, we would be expecting a $130 target anyway. So regardless, whether we're looking at this as, 5 waves up here or this is a wave 4 to move up, we're still looking around that 128, 130 area initial target, guys. Okay. Let me see here. If one were to join in the rally to 129, would this be considered chasing and should be avoided? Thinking back to the Elliott wave session we had yesterday for tier 3. Yeah, I honestly, if you see this big candle and you want to jump in, yeah, you're probably chasing. What you would want to do is look for something on a lower time frame here. Look for a pullback. Look at this hourly, guys. We dipped into oversold and we're breaking back. I got a lot of room on that Stochastic RSI to rally up here higher. People will go, look, it's bearish divergence. Well, not yet. We've got this huge move potentially, right? Only if it gets rejected, the RSI here, only if it gets rejected prior to this swing high and then turns and heads lower, right? But right now, it's potentially bearish divergence, but it could continue up and close above this. So don't think that just because right now, lower highs and higher highs here, we're getting bearish divergence, potentially, don't think that that's the end all be all, because again, look at that Stochastic RSI. Stochastic RSI has the entire thing still to run. And again, looking here, this looks like a 1-2 working on a 3 here. So we get a 3, we get a 4, we get a 5, likely to target up there near that swing high there on that 1 hour. 4 hour, we're oversold or overbought there on RSI and Stochastic RSI. So yeah, but again, rallying up here on the hourly, man. We're coming to 135. I wouldn't be surprised to see it kind of do that. If I look here, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And then we got a pullback. Look at that. 65% pullback. I mean, if I'm looking at this on this lower time frame, I think it makes a good case to be rallying up here around 131, just on this lower part here. So, maybe you get like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get this 5th wave here. Or, again, with the strength of this movement, it is possible you could be looking like a 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives you a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just say that, guys, because usually your 3rd wave is where you have all these big candle spreads, you have all this expansive volume. Usually it's in your wave 3, and then it dies off in your wave 5. So keep an open mind. I think you're getting at least around probably that 128, 131 area, potentially rallying all the way up there, 140 plus. But you'll have to play it by ear as it develops there. All right. But I would definitely think you have to zoom into a smaller time frame and look for a pullback on that. Some kind of setup there to jump in. If you're just jumping in because it's a big candle, here's the thing, guys. A lot of times traders, what they'll do is they'll see this candle like this, right? And they'll jump in here. But here's the thing. If you're trading this right here, your stop loss has to go down here below the swing low minimally. So if you're jumping in right here, right, and you're trading properly, you have to put your stop loss here, which means you have to hope this thing gets up, just up to around 138 or so, just to break even. And if you should be looking for at least a 1.5 R. So you're really looking for it to rally up here toward, 151. That gives you 1.5 R. That's big, right? That's a large stop loss there. So you don't want to jump in on big candles like that, guys. If you miss it, you miss it, right? What should you have done if you were watching this, guys? Look at this. You know what you should have done? This is how you trade, guys. See this right here? You see how you get this volume falling off? See how you've got this ABC right here? This is what you should have been doing right here. Okay? And then as you got to the low there, right, there's nothing really here saying, okay, we should go back. You're about mid-range. So you can look at that. But man, when you broke out through this, You should have been looking to long on a breakout there. And then what happens is all of a sudden now, and there's no guarantee it would have gone up like this, but that's what you're trying to play to, right? And so all of a sudden now your stop loss looks here, and all you had to do was get to just to break even. You only had to get here to $92, $93. To get 1.5R, you only had to get to about $96. Now all of a sudden things are looking great, right? You're ended up 3.7R. That's how you trade that, guys. You don't jump in on the big candle. You needed to have gotten in here. If you missed this entry, you absolutely have to get in on a lower time frame. Look for a setup, not just a pullback. Make sure the pullback makes sense. But then that's what you want to look for. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. Don't jump in on big candles. If there's one thing you guys hopefully will take away from today, never jump in on big candles. You'll get them sometimes and they'll work out, but that's going to be just enough and just often enough to keep you doing it. Most of the time, you're going to lose money, though. You're going to lose money. You're going to lose money. You're going to lose money. You're going to say, oh, man, I give up. I'm not going to do that anymore. And you do it the one more time, and all of a sudden it works. And then you're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm good now. And then you start doing it again, and you start losing all that money and more again until you're ready to give up again, and then it works out for you again. That's the way things tend to work out when you trade emotionally in the markets, unfortunately. And that win is enough to get you emotionally hooked to keep doing that same thing, which you were going to give up anyway, rightfully, because it wasn't working, right? So, yeah. All you guys that are listening there, I'm telling you guys right there. My settings on the pivot are the same one, man. So on the pivots here, if you hit settings, all I do, the type is traditional. I don't do all this. Like I said, we've got a Pivots Points master course where we go over what all these are and the best times to use them. But I just use traditional there. Auto, it stays there. Number of pivots back. It's been doing this lately. It sets it to 15. I just do one. Whoops, that's 5. I only care about the current set of pivots. I don't care about the previous ones. Now, if you need a little bit help, if you can't just look left and see where the resistance and supports are, you can get on here and you can go, okay, well, maybe I'll do it like 3 pivots back, right? And then it gives you the previous 2, right? And you can kind of see these areas where you've got these resistances and whatnot. See where we've rallied? See where we're having resistance right now? It's the previous one, right? But if you go sideways here, you can see that it's this resistance right here. But yeah, for me, no, I'm all about just the current pivots they are. So I don't change anything on them, just traditional pivots myself, okay? JMES says, can't be greedy or emotional. No, you can't, but we all are. It is the toughest thing, guys. Trading is simple, but it's not easy. And what I mean when I say that is that trading is nothing more than moving through areas of liquidity, okay? No matter how you look at the charts, really that's all it is. And just picking the right area of liquidity. Okay, so it's simple. The concept is simple, easy, simple to understand, right? It's not easy, though. It's not easy because you fight with your emotions and the psychology of what you're doing here. That market and that trader psychology is what you're fighting against. And that is very, very difficult. So, yeah, we say, we say, can't be greedy or emotional, and I agree for sure. But it's so easy to say, much more difficult to do, right? So if you guys ever hear me say that, just understand, I recognize that it's not easy to do it, but it is simple to understand. It's the part, that emotional, psychological part, lack of risk management, that's where traders lose. And that's what causes pretty much all your losses, guys. Not understanding how to, target or whatever. It really is lack of proper risk management. That's really the number one thing, because a lot of that is based in your emotions. Okay. So, yeah. Let me see here. Let me kind of catch up real quick here. So that was that. I saw some people ask for some other ones. I can't tell what you guys, I don't remember what you guys were looking at there. Real quick here. So, feel free to share it if you want again. I'll look over there again. Looks like this is TRX. I know we all love Justin Sun, right? But I mean, I can't ignore the charts, guys. Notice we've got wave 1 up. Looks like we got wave down 2 or wave 2 down here. And we're rallying up here, breaking out above this wave B here at 0.12933 is going to add confidence to this pullback here. and that'll give us a target of 0.32630. So that's kind of what I'm looking there. Notice this is the weekly. Look at the Stochh RSI on the weekly. We've dipped down and oversold, curl back up, trying to break out, threatening to cross bullishly. Just want to see some follow through on that, folks, right? So that's where I'm looking for on that. First off, let me get back to these charts we had over here. Real quick, I talked about Ethereum Classic real quick on that BitBoy show this morning. Again, guys, notice area of support or resistance right here. The last time I talked about Ethereum Classic was down in this area, and we rallied that up there to almost 200. That was the last time I talked about it. I'm talking about it again now. This looks great. You've got a great runoff of volume as you're kind of the range is developing here. So, you know, personally, we're breaking out of this descending resistance. You know, the weekly pivot here at about $27, $28 should be an easy target overall. Impulsively break out above that. We should be rallying up here to around $44, $46. Break out through that. You can look up here probably around 150 or so. And then that should set out a breakout higher. But those would be my targets on Ethereum Classic rallying up, all right? EGLD. I know people used to ask me about this one quite a bit back in the day. Again, another movement here. You can see that we're finding support here. Again, you just kind of draw this line in here. Look at that. Right there at that support, right? Finding at that resistance, finding support here. Looks like we got AB 1, 2, 3, 4, and then ABC 1, 2, ABC 3, 4, AB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is C here. We have a, this is the weekly. This is usually a reversal pattern. You have a large candles. When you have a, let's say in this case, what do you call it? Your trend is down, right? And at the end of the trend, you have this large candle spread. And then you have a doji. And then you have large candle spread back the other way. That most often leads to, you know, signals of reversal. Again, looks like an ending diagonal here. Break out through the resistance. Should give us a target here at the top of the wedge, right around $64, $65. Break out above that. Easy target, weekly pivot there, 111. Break out through that impulsively. Next target becomes this wave B. Swing high here at 270. We break out above that, and all bets are off then. In that case, we start looking up here at around $887 on that. I know it's hard to look at that now and go, yeah, 34. Sure, 887 looks good. But if we're hitting each of those targets like that, that's where we got it, guys. That's what we're looking at, okay? Let me see here. Could I look at oil? Sure, I can look at oil here real quick. Oil's been in this consolidation, guys, just forever and a day, it seems like. You know, we're just kind of, it's always such a pain in the rear because that big drop may over there. All right, so we are just sideways here, guys. I mean, really, we're sideways here from basically November, right? This is all we're doing. So, you know, we made a high, we made a low, we made a higher high, we made a lower low. We're just sideways here. Look at on the weekly here. Look at the RSI, guys. Basically flat since September. Look at that. It's hovering around neutral since September of last year. Absolutely crazy. But look why. Why is it doing that? Because, again, you see how you've got this all right here, and locally you've got the support back here on August of 21, support again, same area. November 21, support again a little bit higher up there, March of this year, and then wick down here in May of this year. So honestly, guys, we're sideways right there. Me personally, this is the way I'm looking at this, honestly, guys. I'm looking at, let me just throw these on here real quick. I'm looking local range here, this swing low to that swing high. Okay. And then if we break out one way or another of that, God, I can't even get that on there. Sorry, guys. You know where I'm looking at right here. I'm looking at then this swing low and this swing high up here. Get off. There we go. All right. And to me, that's what's going to tell us what's going to happen. If we break down below this swing low, we look to see, does this one hold? If we break down and close below this one, then we're looking down here toward the S1 pivot at around 56.73, 56.75. If we break out above this kind of swing high here at $75, then we have to break out above this swing high at 83.5. And if we do that, then initially we look at the pivot up here at about 93.5. If we can break out impulsively above that, then we should be looking at 117. But that is exactly how I'm approaching it. I'm not getting cute with it. This is just a whole bunch of overlap. I mean, even up over here in September of 22, it's overlap here, drops just a little bit lower, comes back. Overlapping here, which is overlapping with the lows there, drops down, pulls back up into this previous one. A little bit lower, comes sideways right in here. So, I mean, ultimately, guys, you know, if you're looking at this, you can see that there is this area right here, right? See if I can do this here. So you've kind of got this kind of resistance right here, right? And then you've got this one right here, right? So, I mean, those are the kind of the resistance areas in there, but those levels are what I'm watching to look to the next level. In this area, it's just too much overlap to get cute with it. You know, zoom out, get more simple with it, I think, right? Let me see here. Look at it all. So there you go, Chris. I hope that helps, man. I know it's not probably what you want to hear, but the reality of it is, with all the just the overlap and then just the consistent consolidation there, it's going to break out probably sooner rather than later. But you're going to want to watch those levels to get an idea of where it may be happening. Trying to guess it right now with all that overlapping price action, just going to give you a headache. Okay. Let me see here. I got somebody else here. Big Vape, what's up? He says, do you think DeFi 1.0 continues to move? Maybe DPI is worth looking at, but I am referring to comp, AV, Uni. I actually have an AV chart here, AAVE. Let me see here. I've got this one right here. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I think alts in general are likely bottoming out. And so you should be watching them in general if you're looking. And I'm talking about longer term, right? So this is like weekly charts. Again, you've got your structure here. You have a great drop off in volume. And especially, you see this move down here. So you have phase A right here, stopping phase. You have your preliminary support. You have your selling climax. You have your automatic rally, your secondary test. You pop up phase B here, right? So phase ST and phase B. Right now, we've got an LPS, a last point of support. We couldn't even muster enough strength to break down below the swing low, right? And so we've broken out of this descending resistance here. This is phase B. This is phase C here, this last test of the lows. And so right now we're still trying. And so I want to see this breakout. I want to see this continuation of breakout here. I think, again, this is probably the last low here. We get pullbacks. I could see us potentially rallying into the pivot at about 128 or so, pulling back down toward 85 maybe, and then breaking out. But again, what you're looking for on the weekly is just an impulsive breakout above that pivot. If you get that, you know, most of the time you get a rally up to the R1 pivot area, pull back to the pivot, and then break out higher. But yeah, once you're above that weekly pivot, there's a good chance you stay above it and you just continue to rally higher there. I think it's the same for most alts out there. Now, you're going to have outliers or, ones that, because they're just complete and utter junk. I mean, just the junk of the junk, the trash of the trash. No dev team, no whatever. People giving up on it that won't follow with everything else. But again, if Bitcoin's going up, rising tide lifts all ships. You should be expecting altcoins to follow as well. Just don't rush it in. Look for it to be happening. Look on this larger time frame at the weekly. You'll see a lot of structures like I'm showing you here that are suggesting we do have some upward on that, some upward movement on that. You mentioned comp. We've actually got a member. I think it was Baltazar. Got something like, I don't even remember what the return on that trade was. Something like an 18R trade on that. They just did the other day. So absolutely fantastic. It was good run in there. Let me see. Let me see. Will the workshop be available soon? There seems to be an issue with reserving my spot and have tried the different browsers. Yeah. No, you'll still get the early bird pricing. Don't worry about it. I'm going to do it from 24 hours when all the issues are figured out on it. I've got a, as I mentioned at the beginning here, I do have a, message into their tech support staff for the platform to help me get it working right. So don't worry, guys. You'll still get a chance for that early bird. It's a crazy deal. Yeah, it definitely is. But I will post it there on our social media spaces. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, as well as there in our Discord server too. So even if I'm on the free side of the Discord server, you still see the announcements section there with it. Okay. Any uni charts? No, I don't have one right on the top of my head here. Let me see here. Well, that was oil. Let's jump over here. I'm probably pulling one up real quick. Yeah, I mean, this is great here. We got the pullback mid-range on this wick here. That's what it looks like. Yep. Mid-range on that wick. Perfect. What we expect. Right here at the high volume node. Shoots up through the low volume node, finds some resistance at the high volume node. That's what we expect. See here, this is what, the weekly? This is still the weekly. I'm just looking here. If I'm looking at this on this pullback here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one. So probably like potentially looking at an ABC here. And then let me see. And then you've got like A, B, C as a flat maybe here. So that would be W, X, Y. Let me see if this works out here real quick. And then A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you could have this done. You're going to have to break out above this swing high here at 76.19 to signal to add confidence to that count. Oops. You see here. But there's a great drop off in volume here. Phase B, you still have a spike there, which you would expect, but it's actually coming at the bottom, which is great, which means you had an attempt to push it down, a strong attempt by supply. Demand showed up in spades, sent it back up here, almost to the same high there, and then kind of just fell on back here. Volume dropping off back. You get down to the lows here, volume kicks up on this breakout, on this rally off that. So, I mean, that's what you want to see generally, but you want to get above Wave X here at $7.62 or so to really kind of say, okay, this is probably heading up. Let's see, what does the 3-day look like? Yeah, you'll look like maybe like a 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives you 3, 4 gives you 5. Yeah, right here, you're just right here where we got all this resistance support. So if we can pop out above that, should send us up higher. You do have a spike of volume toward the top here, so be careful at the moment. But again, once you get above that Wave X, you're likely headed higher. That gives you, that's a 1 and a 2, and you break out above that Wave X. It gives you a Wave 3 minimum expected target around $14, $14.10. Minimum expected Wave 5 up here at about $16.50 is where I look for that. So yeah. Oh, Baltazar, you're here, man. Yeah. This is the gentleman, guys, who's with us there in Tier 3 and also in our coaching program. And he's the one that nailed that trade. So absolutely fantastic return on that. So, that's what our guys are doing, man. They're making some noise, right? Let me see here. What else we got here? I want to show you some charts here real quick. XEC, people are asking about this because you had that big run up, right? Look at that big move up. I believe that's probably a wave 3. So looking for that wave 4 pullback, maybe a bit lower here down to 3230 or a little bit below that, 3100 maybe. And then wave 5 of 1 up here at around 4447. And so again, look at the idea. This is a 1, 2. We'll get a 3 and a 4. That gets us a 5. That'll be a 1, 2. We'll pull back again down here toward this 30. This 3,000 area or so. Maybe 3,200, right in that area. And then that'll give us a wave 3, and then a wave 5 gets us up here probably close to around 84, 8,500. You can see that you do have this Indian diagonal thing going on here. So yeah, I like that. I like the move. There's a lot of volume coming out that. You can see here on the daily that we're getting ready to cross. We're crossing bullishly, looking for that break up higher on the Stochastic RSI. RSI, of course, is overbought. Like I said, huge volume coming on that. But, again, usually we default to the idea that wave 3 is the large volume, large candle spread. So wave 1, wave 3, and then wave 5 is lesser volume usually. So definitely what I'm looking for there. Coinbase. What we got here with Coinbase? Yeah, Coinbase is doing its thing. Same chart I posted. I've shown you guys. Same chart I posted there on Twitter. Looking for wave 3 up here at around 136.60 or so. Breaking out above wave circle B here at $85.38 is going to add confidence to this wave 3 target. Again, like everything else, pulled back into that major area of support and resistance, and then broke out of in this case, broke out of the descending channel there, heading up, right? So continues to look good on that. Definitely not hating it, right? If we take a look here, God, man, see, this is what happened. I don't know what happened to Coinbase. All of a sudden, all my charts got like 15 pivots back. And then our RSI here changed back to yellow. Can't read yellow on gray. So got to keep going back these charts and resetting all this. But man, this right here, I know Fiboswani's making some money this morning off this move up. We're about to break out above the swing high. That should give us a minimum expected target of 45.72 and a quarter, potentially moving up here as high as 46.41 and a half, or maybe even 46.55 at that R5 pivot. But I'm not even so worried about the R1 pivot or the R5 pivot because it is the daily, and this will end at the end of today. But look at that daily Stochastic RSI, guys. We've got a lot of room left for this thing to run, right? And this pattern target is based on this potential barrier triangle looking thing, right? We've already broke out above the mid-August swing high, which to me says we are bullish off the October low here, because that locks that in as a corrective movement there. So we'll see if wave 4, wave 3 at the all-time high, wave 4 on this pullback is done, or if wave 4 is still building maybe a triangle or a flat correction. We'll see how that plays out. But right now, we've still got these upper targets here locally on that, right? So what I'll probably say, guys, you guys are asking about a whole bunch of these. Again, alts are, they're going to all move. They're going to move together, right? So the counts are going to be similar. Okay, guys? Let me see here. BCH Bitcoin, man, we used to do that. We used to cover the Bitcoin Cash, and then nobody was really looking at it, so I removed it probably about a month ago, I think. Almost a month ago, a few weeks back. So we stopped tracking it, and of course, then we get the big move, right? But it's because we were getting a lot of big moves that just really kind of a pain in the rear end, right? But here's the count I was looking at prior, a few weeks back anyway. And so as you can see here, we did get a little bit swing low, that large wick. Yeah. Again, this may be an ABC here. It doesn't really matter, WXY ABC. The fact is we've got the pullback, and we got this rally, right? So we had this huge kind of stupid doji here, right? This thing popped up almost to the R5 pivot here on the daily, and then down here to the S3 pivot. And then here we go, right? And so, you know, if I'm looking at this, she's always looking at things. It's, you know, we're well overbought RSI and Stoke RSI on this. Jump back to the weekly here. Yeah, and so again, large impulsive outbreak, you know, above the pivot, the weekly pivot, up toward the R1. I mean, when you're looking at that, that usually indicates that the lows are in, that it should stay above that pivot. So if I look at this, I look at maybe like, if I'm counting it from here, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then A, B, C. So maybe like a flat here instead of a WXY, that may be a flat right here on this larger time frame. And so in that case, again, 1, 2, 3, large candle spread, large volume, right? That's what I keep talking about. By the way, you'll notice in this range here, you'll notice, see the volume dropping off again. Another thing you should be looking at there, because that just gives you, you know, your Wackofian structure. Let me see. Really, I can't really draw it in here, but basically it's this kind of thing right here. And so, yeah, you know, if I'm looking at that, I'm looking at it as a 1, 2 on that larger time frame, on this larger time frame. Wave 3 is rallied up to the 3618. So again, that's an overextension target that we have for wave 3s is 3618, 2618, 4618, stuff like that. And so we've kind of hit that. So I'm thinking this is probably a wave 3. So we'll get a wave 4 pullback and a wave 5 higher. Is it done right here? Maybe. I mean, it's a good area for it to be done. It's the R1 pivot on the weekly. It is almost that 3618 extension. If it is, you know, we get that as a 1, 2, 3 here. You know, that gets us a wave 3 pullback right into this high volume node, right? So 243, the 50% pullback is at the weekly pivot at 215. Those would be my two targets on the pullback for a wave 4. And that potentially gets us up to 416 if you get the 50%, or it gets us up to just a slightly lower there at 397, 398 if you just get the 38.2 retracement. But then that gives you 5 waves up, right? And then those 5 waves, that's a wave 1, right? And then so you pull back here. So I can do this here about there for your wave 2. So you get your wave 1 up there, your wave 2 pulls back right to where your wave 4 is, right? So again, guys, big picture here. Let me do this. I just want to make sure you guys can really kind of see this. Let's see, here's that. Okay, we'll go with that one. Okay. Let me get rid of the rest of this real quick. And we'll do that. So we just have this. And now, get all that stuff out of there, because on the weekly, guys, again, this is the idea. The idea is that you have a 1 and a 2 and a 3, either here or just about done, 4, and then it gets you that 5, you know, right up there, at least around kind of that 400 area, at least, you know, with what I was already talking about there. And then that just gives you a 1 up there to that point, and a 2 right back down here, and then 3, 4, 5 to head us back up. And so if we generally follow this, guys, we should look, if you're interested in buying something like that, right? Generally, this gives us, without overextending, right? But I think at this point, we probably overextend wave 3 to around 852. And that'll give us a wave 5, probably closer up here, overextension around maybe $1,000 or $1,100. And then that will give us 1 wave up. And then we'll have a wave 2 pullback and then 3 up. So a lot of potential movement on that. Again, the idea that Bitcoin is bottomed means that alts have generally probably bottomed as well. And you should be looking for reasons to get in on that larger time frame, okay? So Anyway, just something to watch there. Let me see. Maybe you should remove more charts. Just tell us in advance. What? Am I missing something there? Or are you talking to me? Let me kind of catch up with you guys here real quick. Hey, Dave D, what's going on, man? Thoughts on VET USD? Again, same idea, guys. I mean, I'll tell you without even looking at it. Same idea, probably. Let's kind of throw off everything here so we can see clearly. These dang pivots. Man, I've got so many charts, and it just every time they come up, I've got to change this. What a freaking pain. Thanks a lot, TV. Appreciate you guys. Make my life more difficult, right? Oh, come on now. Yeah, I mean, so we're getting sideways right here. Let me see here. What do we have? Yeah, we don't. Do I have this? What do I got in here? Okay, yeah, kind of what I'm looking at here. But I was looking at wave 4 maybe being done here, where it wasn't. Let's see here. Actually, a little slightly move up there might be wave 3 over there. Wave 4 pulling back to the pivot. This would be wave 3 up here. And that gets you all, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as an ending diagonal. This here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, maybe coming in there. So I think it's probably what we're looking at. As you can see here, pullback target on that. 38.2 retracement perfectly to the pivot. That all looks good. Based on the height of wave 4 here, the target would be 0.02125 area. Give us this. But let me zoom in. This is the 4 hour here. Let me zoom out a little bit more. That kind of just gets us above that. I could see an overextension here maybe. Well, let me see here. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, I mean, so overall, if I'm just looking at this, I'm watching that right there, which is right where we're hitting resistance at. Yeah, I'm looking for an impulsive breakout just above here. So let me kind of zoom back to where we were. More or less here. So just a quick pull on that. You can see that that's pretty much exactly where we hit. We could be 5 done here. This could be enough to do that, but it just looks like 3. I mean, it looks like an ABC, ABC. So, a WXY. So ABC down, WXY up. And then well, let me see here. Yeah, dog it. Let me see what this 3. It's too short there. Too short there. I was looking at the idea maybe this could be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but as you saw, that was too short on that. This does look like 5 right here. And then we got A, B, C here. I mean, this could potentially be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So you get your ABC down, ABC up, and then maybe you have a running flat here for it. But that doesn't really change things. I mean, if your 4 is here and you got ABC, well, then this has to 4 actually has to be over here, right? Because it would have to be a running flat. And if you've got a running flat there, target up there closer to 0.02313. But the problem with that target, what I don't like about that target is, well, I don't know. This is the hourly. That's okay. Let me see here. Let me look. Let me zoom back out again with that target now. And so what we're looking for is the pullback. Does that resistance hold that support on the pullback? And unless this takes until like the end of July to pull back, it could take a month to pull back. Get your 50% there and just retest it as support right around this cluster right here. See how that works right there? Support and resistance, the cluster. So the idea would be that we could potentially see this moving up here, coming back down toward this area, and then getting that move up. That's probably what I'd be looking at right now if I look at this real quick. Yeah. So why are alts dying when Bitcoin is up? Is it Bitcoin dominance reason? Well, so think of it this way. There's so much money out there, right? And so the way that, if you think of the way the markets work, right? They're cyclical. And within then, you usually there's rotation within those cycles, right? And so you rotate from one sector to another kind of thing. And that's just what stocks, right? So when you get to crypto, you're in the mega caps, the big ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, stuff like that, right? With Bitcoin being, just the upper echelon. And so most of the money sits in there when Bitcoin moves, right? And then as Bitcoin nears, basically wave fives, as it starts getting into wave fives, gets to wave fours, wave fives, money starts rotating out of Bitcoin in those, those large caps, mega caps, and then it moves into like mid caps, rallies up in mid caps, rotates out of mid caps into small caps, rallies up out of small caps into micro caps, rallies up, and then back into the large ones again. And generally, that's what happens. So when your big boys are moving, people tend to put their money into that, not into alts. And that's generally what kind of happens there. All right. Real quick, quick explanation of that. So yeah. Let me see here. Man, oh man, I'm gonna have to get out of here in a minute, guys. I know we're started a little bit later, but I still have my things to do because I have our students working with mentor students here at 1:30. So I got to get ready for that. But yeah, again, going back to Coinbase stock, I don't like this as a inverted head and shoulders. It's just not very clean, not very proportional at all. You'd have to look at it something like this, and that's where the resistance comes, and it is what it is. But and you're going to expect it's wave 3, so you're going to expect big candles through here. But I don't like the patterns at all anyway. But the head and shoulder patterns, but I really don't like the just how large that left shoulder is and just how small that right shoulder is. But yeah, you're coming at that resistance where you would expect it, pulling back. You expect impulsive breakout. This is wave 3, so you expect large candle spreads, large volume on that as well. So, you don't have to look at it as the inverted head and shoulders to kind of say, oh yeah, well, maybe it's going to rally there, right? Yeah, Sol is running right now. Yeah, everything's going, guys. It just is what it is, right? If there's one piece of advice I could give you in the bull market, don't try to chase everything that all of a sudden breaks out. Look for your entries. Zoom out to your larger time frames, find your larger time frame entries, and then zoom in from there. be ready to get into the move before it happens. Then you don't have to worry about chasing. You have to worry about missing it. And if you miss something, that's okay. Don't worry about it. You will never get most, or even, you'll never get all or even most of the runs that you'll have in the markets. But you don't have to. What you'll do is you'll try to get them over and over again, and you'll often get caught near the top, and you'll lose money. That's what normally happens. But if you can keep from doing that, you've got a lot better chance of making money there, okay? Yeah, I got big targets. Yeah, my targets haven't changed on DOT and all that. Yeah, they're still where they are. We had a little bit of a kind of movement back here last month or so, but overall, big targets still up there for everything. Sure. Anyway, okay. Let me see. So it is 12:40 here. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. I appreciate you guys being here as always. Like I said in the last stream, there's going to be a change up in how we're doing things so that I can bring you a whole bunch of other content as well. But we are at some point here, probably in the not too distant future, going to go, these streams that I'm doing here are going to go down to 1 time a week on Fridays. And I'm going to be getting in other traders every week to kind of come in with me and talk about what they're looking at in the markets, anything they're looking at special for you guys. And then that way it opens me up to post shorter form videos throughout the week with my idea of what's going on with news or, maybe bigger pictures on the charts and whatnot for you guys. And then, of course, I've got the Bearded Trader podcast, which you guys need to look at that. It's here on the channel, guys. By the way, if you haven't liked and commented and followed me, subscribe to the channel wherever you're following me at, follow me on Twitter, whatever. Go ahead and do that, guys. I would love to have you guys following along. One thing you're never going to get from me is BS. All right. You may not agree with me, but I can tell you that the way I've been doing this now, getting on 30 years really works. And so, try to be open-minded. I'm always open-minded. I'm trying to learn every day still today, trying to learn. I don't believe I know everything there is to know about trading. And so you should be the same way. If I'm doing that, you should definitely be doing the same thing. But anyway, on our channel here on YouTube, right now you can catch our Bearded Trader podcast. First one was with, I can't even speak here, was with Mr. Gary Cardone. A fantastic interview. And if you really pay attention to it, do your best to understand what he's talking about when he talks about markets and pricing. Because with Bitcoin still being relatively new, there's a lot of what he talks about, which is what you can, overlay with what we're going through with Bitcoin right now. And he talks about it from being, when deregulation came out with the gas, with natural gas, here in Houston area. And then as he went over to Europe and set some things up over there for it. But man, oh man, so much knowledge, guys. You don't have to agree with everything he says, whatever it is, personal thoughts and things about things. But man, when it comes to markets and stuff, listen, you guys would do yourself a lot of favors of not being being much more humble when it comes to markets, and people have been in them for decades and decades, and really listening for those little bits of wisdom that you can pull out of there, and they will serve you for the next decades, right? That's the goal, guys. Always picking up what you can from anybody you're listening to. All right, guys. So there it is. Like I said, we do have that risk management workshop that'll be next Saturday. We're going to have early bird pricing on that. You can get it for half price, $49 instead of $99. Once we get the issue figured out with why a lot of people are having trouble buying tickets at the moment, we'll have a 24-hour window on there. I'll post it across social media when that's ready. And then, like I said, guys, share the heck out of it, because if we get something like 100 people, you're already going to get a month of tier 3 access. That's $199 just for signing up for this $49, right? Early bird. Learn risk management. Most important thing you can do as a trader day in and day out. We'll show you exactly how to do it with my risk framework, right? But you also are going to get a month of tier 3 free, $199 value. But I'm telling you guys, if we're getting like 100 people signed up, I'll probably give you guys an extra month, everybody an extra month. So now you'll have 2 months. If we get something like 500 people signed up, I'd probably give you 3 or 4 months free. I haven't figured it out exactly yet, but I'm telling you guys right now, that's what I'm looking to do. So share it far and wide when it comes out there, and you just may potentially even lock in a year. I'm looking at that. I'm looking to see how many people I need to sign up to really make that year, make it happen. But man, oh man, can you imagine that? $2,400 if you're paying monthly for tier 3, and you're getting that for paying early bird, $49. And you get, we get like 1,000 people or maybe, 1,500 people signing up. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So just some things to think about there, guys. But either way, 1 month free of tier 3 with that as well. All right, guys. All right. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Y'all trade safe. If you're in the U.S. celebrating Independence Day this weekend, please come back with all your toes and fingers and other body parts. Don't end up in the hospital, whether it's firework or alcohol related. Please, I want to see you guys come back. And then we will be back next Friday for our next show. And I believe Fibbo is going to be on there. So y'all, check him out at Fibbo Swanee on Twitter there, and just send him a whole bunch of messages about telling him he needs to make sure that he comes to next Friday's show. Okay. All right, guys, y'all have an amazing weekend. You trade safe. Remember, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. That's absolutely it. Risk management is the most important thing you'll do day in and day out as a trader. It is what separates you from being successful and not. It is that is the biggest thing you can do to have the biggest impact on whether you're going to be successful as a trader. All right? All right, you guys take care, and I will see y'all next week.